Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on NLBP TV. You are with Camille Miller, the founder and executive director of the Natural Life Business Partnership, and my co-host, Lee Gabarzik of Soulful Mandelas out of Long Valley, New Jersey. Hi, Lee.
Hello, Camille.
And you are joining us for the Lee and Me Show. Thank you for being here.
Yes, especially during these times.
Yeah, during these times. So today we decided to talk about a time for pause.
Yes.
It's just okay, given where we are today, to just have a human moment. It's okay not to be productive. It's okay to sit on your couch. It's okay to feel like you need to just walk in nature. It's okay to just pause. And I feel like this is a time for rebirth. Like, so many amazing things are going to come out of this if we get to the other side of fear, right? Because the other side of fear is love.
Absolutely.
Right? And just kind of, being okay with waiting for that. And I know a lot of people are in a hard place right now, but I think the most important message for today is just to be okay with wherever you are, whatever you're feeling, and accept it and own it and just be okay.
Yeah, so there's so much with this. So one of the things for me, and we were talking about this earlier, with so much happening, I find that I have to sleep more.
Yep.
And, I'm usually like to get about 7, 8 hours, but I'm up to like 9 or 10. And somebody may say, well, maybe you're depressed, or maybe it's some kind of like, I don't know, way of just isolating yourself. I don't really see it that way. I think what's happening for me is that I'm just processing. I'm processing my experience, and I'm giving myself the time and the space to do it. And there's a lot of things that are also going on with, even like during the day, there's times when I just get tired and I can't do anymore. And even though if I were to compare this to a normal time, like maybe last year, I would say, well, what's going on that I can't do this? And it's just because I'm just adjusting to this new circumstance. So there's a whole thing even about, they call it the adjustment period in psychology, where people go through a state of, okay, I'm used to doing this a certain way. Now I can't do that anymore. How am I going to handle that?
Yeah.
Oh, and now it changed again. How am I going to handle that? So this is like stages of acceptance, if you would.
Absolutely.
It's a very Kubler-Ross kind of thing, where people go through this whole process, or I go through this whole process of, first it's like in denial, and then it may be, I forget all of the stages,
Yeah.
but maybe anger, rage about it, bargaining about it, the whole like poor me part of it, and then accepting it. And, and this is fine. This is how we process. One of the things too is that for some people, they may process quicker than other people. And it doesn't mean that they're necessarily better. It just means that for them, that kind of capability is more within their experience. For other people, it's going to take them longer. And so it's not just that for myself that I'm patient. And it's not for myself that I'm just kind of giving myself to be whoever I happen to be able to really get into whatever my experience is. And sounds kind of jargony, but to really experience my experience, which is actually at the very heart, I think, of what people do in meditation and relaxation exercises and any kind of the higher work. All of that true integration into the moment is really what allows me a sense of personal engagement and fulfillment that is kind of like very helpful. But there are other people who are just, that for them, that's a stretch, and that's okay. And we were patient with them and just, hopefully model for them, if I'm in a circumstance and I've got something going on, I can't say, like, you need to breathe, or you need to relax, or you need to let go, or you need to blah, 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 all of that stuff. Right. Well, that's not going to help. I mean, it's, if I, and I do this a lot with the kind of work that I do. If I am not able to be the person that I'm asking other people to be, I'm really living in a state of hypocrisy. Because then I'm not really like, and all of this, this kind of work, the kind of work, we were talking about here, all of this is really helpful in reflecting on back to myself when I experience my experience, when I look at my life. What is it I want to adjust? What is it I want to do? What is it? Who am I? What do I want to learn about myself in this moment? What can I do? And I have learned a lot. I mean, we were just talking about how, I have been interested in the kinds of metaphysics and psychic work for many, 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 many years, ever since I was in high school. And I keep thinking, oh, I got it all figured out. It's like, this is what it is. It's this. And I'm discovering so many things that I just didn't know. So
Yeah.
many things about me I didn't know. And I'm just constantly, blown away by this. And it really brings up for me how much there is to discover in life. And when you were talking about putting things on pause, I think of it as almost like a reset. What a great opportunity to catch up to our own experience.
Yeah, it's a
And what
great
a,
time to take something on that's new, like you're saying, or dive
yes,
deeper, or
yeah.
so my daughter wants to study to major in deaf studies. She wants to do deaf theater, so that's her thing.
Hmm.
So sign language is something that she's been studying, and I'm
Right.
like, why? How about during this time, I learn sign language with you?
Yeah.
So tomorrow we're starting sign language
Oh,
class.
that's cool.
Is online, but there is so much amazing online stuff right now, and I think that's where the rebirth is coming.
Yes.
You had said for yourself just about sleeping more, and I just wanted to point out for people that are sleeping more that that's how your body repairs. And
Hmm.
even if it's mental, if
Yep.
it's mental or physical, that your body can only repair during sleep. So if you need sleep, take it. So
Absolutely.
my alarm goes off at the same time every day,
Hmm.
because my life really hasn't changed. I have a global internet company, so I'm still working the same. But the difference is my kids aren't getting up and going to school, and so our schedule is a little bit different, but it does allow me to show up an hour later. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get sick right now. So let me take that time and rest where my body can repair and do. So I'm never tired. Right. And then when
Yes.
I get up, I meditate now, which I've always said I would have the time for, but I don't. So I'm doing this 21-day abundance challenge. It's a meditation abundance challenge with Deepak Chopra. And it's been amazing, but I take the time every morning to
Hmm.
just expand,
Yep.
and do yoga. Today I'm like, you know what, it's beautiful out. I'm going to take a walk and
Yep.
just do. So I think it's a great time to just pause, to rediscover, to dive
Yes.
a little deeper. I've taken out books. It doesn't mean it's only day 11 for me. I know everyone's at a different day, depending on when you were shut down. But you don't have to have it all figured out. We're going to be here for a while. So it's okay if
Yes.
you don't figure it out today. A lot of people are still feeling pressured, like, how do I survive? Where am I going to get the money? I think the beauty of this is that this is a global thing that's happening, like a
Absolutely.
global crisis. We're all doing it together. We're all losing money. We're all going through a rebirth. We're all shut in. We're all feeling everything that anyone listening to this, you're feeling. Like anything
Yeah.
you're feeling, everyone's going through it, and it's all okay. I think that's the point of it.
And I think
Okay.
that there's such a cosmic genius in that, in the sense of what a for all of us who may have felt that maybe others didn't understand us, or for all of us who felt that maybe we were alone in our experience, or that our situation was somehow uniquely or a unique problem, or that nobody could possibly comprehend what I'm going through, and all of the kinds of thoughts that can sometimes go into the feelings that create a feeling of isolation. And in this state, even though the actual requirements have been a kind of physical isolation, this doesn't mean that emotionally that we're isolated. This means emotionally, especially through empathy and through that kind of connected energy. Because I definitely can feel that without the internet or anything. I have a because of what I do, I have this sensitivity to people and what's happening. And the this feeling of connectivity is really very powerful. And it kind of reminds me of how we are such a connected organism. It's not just that we have our own psychic or intuitive awareness as individuals, but we have this as a collection through either our community or through other organizations, but certainly as a planet.
Yeah.
And when we start operating in that way, we better serve the planet because we're working collectively and then sharing resources that then allow for us a greater expediency and efficiency in the way that we conduct ourselves,
Yeah.
which is what just works regardless. But here our hands are getting forced in a way that we're being asked to do this, and how brilliant is that? And and also we're being asked to look at what matters.
Yeah.
Really what matters at the end of the day. Is the Lamborghini that important, really? Is being the star of Instagram really? Is that really what it's all about? Is that really going to hold you tight and hold you and tell you how much you're loved? Is that really going to nestle and nurture your spirit?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that are coming out of this that are causing people to, reflect in a way on some of these ideas. And for those who choose not to go there and resist it, I just think it was going to be harder for them.
Yeah.
Because go on.
I was just going to say, I think we are going to become so much closer, even though we seem so isolated.
Yes.
We're actually going to become closer, because I even find myself checking in on people.
Yes.
Which I normally probably wouldn't have taken the time to do. Like I kind of naturally, but my day is so busy and everything is going on. But now I know people are home, people are struggling, people like even calling my parents. Like I'm one of 5 kids. I know that they're being called every day. But now, like I want to know if they're okay. Like usually we just have a family text and I know who's okay, or like anything. Believe me, we know. But now I call up, I check in, I want to hear their voice. It's a totally different thing. And like I said, it's only day 11, but I find people are connecting. Like last week I had a virtual happy hour with friends. I put on a Zoom link and said, meet me with a drink and let's talk about what you're doing. How's your day? What's your kid? And it was kind of cool. And yesterday someone texted me and they're like, how do we do this? And I was like, I know how to do it. So I always say, like, if you have a community or a way to bring people together to be that catalyst, that's who I am naturally. So I'm working with pastors, I'm working with nonprofits right now, on making sure that we still have community, of friends. I was even thinking, in the nice weather, like I live in a borough where the houses are closer. But we have front porches. And I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I asked everyone to come on their front porch and either sing or play an instrument? Or we see it in Italy, right? There's so much neat stuff that will come out. And I saw in my own town, someone posted, hey, do we all want to jump online and meet each other? Because we all are neighbors and maybe we've never taken that time to go down 3 or 5 houses. And it's true, we haven't. But now we have to check on each other. We have to know everyone's okay. So I think in a brilliant way, it's going to bring us so much closer.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
And I really challenge people to think out of the box and how they can come closer with a total stranger. Maybe it's the person across the street. Like maybe it's putting something nice in someone's mailbox, like a little handwritten note. Like I have sidewalks. I live on a corner, so I have sidewalks around me. And I came from a very rural area. So I've always had trouble saying that word. And, but now I live in a borough. So it's kind of new to me. I've only lived here 2 years, but I have sidewalks. So the first day I was like, oh my gosh, we need sidewalk chalk. Cause I see everyone taking walks, and let me write encouraging messages on the blocks, and we'll paint something, and it gives me something to do, gives my kids something to do. But it's also, I'm teaching my kids, give back. We can't talk, but you can write a sweet message, right?
Oh,
you can write an encouraging word on every block as they walk around our house, and they'll make the time to do it because it actually wraps around our house. So,
that reminds me of some of
the box.
Yeah, and like a lot of, and I'm sure in some ways these people are doing this for themselves, but in Italy, we'll get through this, be strong, we can make this. There's a kind of because frequently, I know for myself what it is that I am frequently supporting in other people is what I want from me. And and I think that it's an important kind of aspect of humility to really kind of connect with that and say that I want to be the voice for the things that really honor me. I want to be the voice for the things that support me in my own betterment, my own improvement, my own being
Yeah.
and becoming, if you would. And then by doing that and sort of like, again, by modeling that and acting as in a supportive way for those people who are going through a similar thing or who want to engage in that with me, how great. Kind of almost, again, like what we're doing here, it really is very, very powerful. And, and another thing, I talked about my father is very gifted and has major, like incredible skills and intuition. His predictions are mind-blowing. I mean, the fact what he did with the market before back in last year is just, I don't know how he knew what he knew. But he was talking about, I mentioned this earlier, how this is when you're going to see the character. This is your test of your character. He said, this is your test of your person. He said, look at it. And he said, and this is when the masks come off. And you're going to really see, he said, you're going to see things, he said, that you may not like to see, but that's just what's real in this moment. And denying it won't help you. Yeah. So, and I also remember his advice when I had started when I had a business years ago. He said, remember, the key is to adapt. If you're just doing things dogmatically, if you just think that you would rather be right than happy, that's a Course of Miracles phrase, then you're just going to end up being really, really miserable. So the process for me in all of this is to adapt, to adjust, to reflect, to look at and what it is that I need, where I need to kind of shift. And I do really truly feel this too. I mean, people talk about this shifting thing going on. I definitely feel it. And I think sometimes, or what I make up about it, I guess is a way of phrasing this, is that as this energy is kind of like, as this shift occurs, if you would, as this kind of growing pain, if you would, we're going through occurs, that the internal intuitive abilities of mine seem to be adjusting, like they seem to be shifting somehow. And I don't really fully understand all of it just yet, but I'm becoming more conscious, and I just can't get over it. And like I also had mentioned, things that I thought I knew about who I am, meaning certain kinds of connections to, everything from extraterrestrials to, psychic phenomena, et cetera, et cetera. I thought I was pretty clear about it. I'm not. And it's been very humbling. It's been very humbling. I mean, things that were like in my face that I just didn't see. And I needed this to see that. And I'm grateful. It's another thing too that I remember just from difficult times. I remember when I've had some really, hard times, not to minimize this at all, but, and people would say to me, whatever you do, see if you can remember your gratitude. Remember your gratitude.
So true.
Because, I remember telling my parents, isn't it great? You have your home, you have money. Isn't it great that my sister has a business that she can work in, that she can stick? Isn't it great that I can do what I do? Isn't it great that I can kind of be here as a kind of like, even the little minimal, teeny role that I play in all of this, to be some comfort for somebody? How great is that? Because, for me, my reward isn't like, oh, I'm comforted. It's that it makes me feel good when I do it. Yeah. Like even our conversations here always make me feel better because I'm speaking truth to a circumstance that I'm experiencing that gives me a certain kind of clarity and gets me out of my own sort of limited viewpoint about it so that I'm willing to see it differently in a more expansive way.
Beautiful. All right, we're going to wrap this baby up because people will stop listening soon. Lee, as always, thank you so much for being my co-host on Lee and Me. We will come to you actually, now we're coming to you every week, and our
Yep.
YouTube channel is pretty
Yep.
live and accurate. So these are
Yep.
released right away. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will get each of our video podcasts every single week. We also can be found on Anchor or Spotify or iTunes for the audio piece of usually a different show, but all
Yep.
Lee and Me shows. So if there's a topic or something you'd like to talk about, please leave it in the comments or contact us at thenaturallife.org and let us know what you'd love to hear about. Thank you, Lee, for another great show.